What is up, peeps? How is everyone doing? How's everyone been? I'm not sick. I just had some pre-show medicine there, if you will. Great to see everybody again. Talk to everybody. I've been out of the loop for about 2 months now. I wasn't sure when I did my last live. I looked. It was exactly 2 months ago today. That was not on purpose. It was just happenstance or lucky. But today was the day that I was free. I was able to come talk to you guys a little bit. I'll tell you what I've been up to, what's been keeping me busy, how everything else, has been going on here. Had a lot going on, everything positive, and maybe in a couple of days more positive news regarding future employment. So we'll see, but we'll take it here as it comes. If it's in the cards for me, it's in the cards for me. If it's not, it's not. So let's say hi to everybody here that's popping in. I haven't really been in Discord either. I read a little bit about the Delphi stuff, the release stuff, and they're still going down the Odinist route. And if you can't put them there, I don't know. I think it's a feeble enterprise to do that. But I pop in here and there. Been following some Huerman stuff, which I'm gonna show you an article about that. He was actually exonerated for a case, and with two of the worst people that maybe ever lived in the world, Rex Huerman and Adolf Hitler. We'll also talk about the micro penis that both of these guys apparently, the Golden State Killer and Hitler. Let me move this light over here because I don't like the reflection it's given. I moved some things around on my desk with my baseball cards and stuff, so I wanted to see if that worked. Hold on a second. No, that's too. There we go. Let's try that. A little bit better. I don't like that. It distracts me. Let me try that. Yeah. Oh, wait. Hold on. I might have it. That's a little better, right? Oh, until it fell off. I only paid $12 for that light, so if she goes down, I think I can recover financially from that. Anyways, we'll figure the light out better for the next show. Of all the things I thought of, I wasn't really thinking about the things I moved around. But anyways, let's say hi to everybody. And I'll tell you why I'm here tonight to talk to you. It's great to see everyone again. What's happening there, Cure? Gibbo's been rolling. I haven't participated in really any chats or anything, but I do listen to stuff as I'm doing things around the house and different things like that. JJ, good to see you. Wolverines pulled one out this weekend. A win is a win. We'll take it. And who knows what can happen as far as the playoff, right? You got to win out. You really got to take it to Maryland, and you got to beat Ohio State. So we'll see what happens. Mustang, good to see you. CJK, good to see you. Basketball season is upon us, college basketball season. I'm sure you're excited. Rescue all the dogs, cleaning. If she's shoddy in the chat. Not a problem. That's what I was doing today. Frank Meister messaged me about Gibbo's live, and I did get to listen a little bit. I was cleaning out the basement. We have all our Christmas decorations up since November 1st. So you got to move in stages, right? You get all the decorations out, then you bring them in, you put them up, and then you have to take the boxes back down, whatever else, the other stuff we had. So that all had to get put away. And I'm sure everybody's really interested to hear about that type of stuff. Aurora, good to see you. I missed a Ron Logan comment. Jinx, as always is in there. Ron Logan wasted too. Well, it happens, Ron. It's a tough time of year. The seasonal depression kicks in, so very understandable there. Make sure I said hi to everybody. The Ron Logan, check the smoker. Few more hours. I know what you mean by that. Never had an armadillo. I'm not a deer guy, despite living in Pennsylvania. Miranda, 11 months. So the last 2 months, I haven't done anything for you guys in your memberships. I plan on making up for that. But we'll talk about all that. Great to see you, Miranda. Hope everything is going good with you. I see some folks on Facebook occasionally, comment here or there. See Frank or Gibbo and Aurora have not lost their sense of kinship there, as always. But let me see here. I made a little, usually I have my tablet. Since I move stuff around, my little detective notebook I call, or Brooke calls my little detective notebook. Don't have it. Don't know where it is. So what have I been doing for 2 months? Well, on the home front, right? We got new steps poured. We got a pad poured in the back of concrete. We had a giant tree taken down. I don't know if I was with you guys for that or not. I might have been. I might have been with you. I told you about the tree. We got a new roof put on by the Amish here in Pennsylvania. The Amish guy's the first day a guy and his son came, and our roof's 30 feet with geography around the house and everything, topography, I should say. So there's no like hills. It's 30 feet. These guys bring one ladder. One guy climbs up on the roof. Next guy climbs up on the porch roof. They put the ladder up and they just keep pulling it up. And wow, they're affordable in price. We got metal to last longer. And that's something that we can do here. We're not near any oceans or anything. I don't know if you can do metal roofs near beaches or stuff like that. We're very happy with it. So excited about that. What else do we have done? I built a little fire pit in the back. Maybe someday I'll take pictures and show you. Nothing fancy. I just used paver bricks. And we got, I think it was a ton or ton and a half of red barnstone. And I spread around it. We had a nice Halloween party. We got a projector. We watched the Michigan football game. That was, I think, October 25th. We had a bunch of family over and stuff like that, just like a fall party. And we're in Christmas mode. Like I said, since November the 1st, we've had our Christmas stuff up. I put the lights up the other day. And we wanted the 3 of them little light up deer. So they're in the yard. So Brooke wanted it one out. I wanted the Charlie Brown snow globe because it's fucking Charlie Brown. But anyways, we've been very busy on that front there. And you guys know that I've run for school board. So if you give me 1 second here, I'm going to show you that. So, I won in May, and I'm surprised a lot of people don't know this, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but we'll explain it to you. So what you have is in May for here in Pennsylvania, in the spring. So in May in Pennsylvania, you have the primary. And I'm a registered Democrat, but I was cross-filed, which means I had enough signatures, Democrat and Republican. Allegheny County is a highly Democratic area. If you look at Pennsylvania, a lot of you probably learned a little bit about it politically from the elections, both Trump elections, actually. Early on, the one that he won and the one that he lost, things happened. So a lot of Pennsylvania, the population is Allegheny County and Philadelphia, right? That's Philadelphia City and Philadelphia proper, Pittsburgh, and the suburbs around Pittsburgh. A highly Democratic area, and everything else around the state's Republican-wise. So here in McKeesport Area School District, we're very heavily Democratic because we are in Allegheny County, about 12 miles from Pittsburgh. But there's also a rising Republican contingent coming on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the finals on the poll for the election. This is how it shook out here. Fire call. God, I have some pictures from fire calls. It's been insane in the Keysport Fire Department recently. Shit's just been going down. So as you can see, I finished second. Orla Payne kicked everyone's ass. I defeated Matt Holtzman and Dave Donato. They are current board members. So, and myself and Orla are new board members. We've never served before. And considering a turnout where the president isn't running, the governor isn't running, it was a better turnout than expected, but still so low. Probably the percentage of the voters cast in Allegheny County was probably like 15 or 20% of voters actually showed up. In this particular election, a lot of Democratic voters showed up. And I just find all that stuff very interesting. But as you can see, Arla was the only one registered as a Democrat, and that certainly helped her. The rest of us were cross-filed, and Bob Boyle was a Republican. He ran on. So there was a lot of write-in votes. There was a candidate who took over for a friend of mine, Dan Gogenauer, who became the state representative, and 845 or 5% write-in is a big number. That's a big number. So I am on the school board officially now. My first meeting is the 4th of December. So that's coming up soon. And there's 9 members of the board. Hopefully everybody, the idea is to go there and get along. We're going to have arguments. We're going to have disagreements. And hopefully that's the idea. But there's people on the board that bully people on social media and stuff like that. Sound familiar. And I have no problem with standing up to that. And hopefully it doesn't get into that. I really, really hope plan A is to go there and get along and disagree on shit. That's perfectly fine, right? But if we're going to be taking bully tactics, then I'm going to have to do what I have to do, and I'm okay with that. So I'm happy to get in there and excited about it. But like I said, December 4th, so tomorrow, I'm going to the Carnegie Library. We have a Carnegie Library here in McKeesport. Andrew Carnegie, the steel guy. I'm a very pro-labor guy, and Andrew Carnegie was terrible for labor for probably 75% of his life. At the end of his life, he made all these contributions, and I truly believe that he felt bad. I truly believe there was riots here in Homestead, which is about 10 or 12 minutes from us, where workers were killed. And he's an interesting guy, Andrew Carnegie. I don't know how much you know about him, but he's from right around here, and he did his business and his wealth here. But there's a Carnegie Free Library. It's a great place, a great resource. They feed people. There's medical things that come. When I was up there on election day, there was like a woman's mammogram. It was free. It was a truck you go in, and it's in one of our poorer areas. So it's a fantastic thing, but they do a lot. And I am up to actually be put on the board for that. So I'll find out tomorrow if they agree, if I'm on the board. Fantastic. You meet once a month, and, it's an unpaid position, like everything, like school board is, but help out, and I'd be very interested in that. And we'll see what happens. We'll go from there, but we will see what happens. But I'm excited about that. Let me catch up on some comments here. But it's great to see everybody. I don't know if some of you guys have not seen each other, if you only see each other in my chat. I know a lot of people were taking breaks and stuff like that, and I'm going to talk about that. Mine wasn't true crime has gotten to be like a seedy place. It's always been a seedy place, but it was more of my other stuff that I had going on and just busy with it. And there wasn't a lot, And here's the thing for us, that covered the Delphi case. Once the verdict happened, and once everything happened and the initial aftermath, a few months after it, it's almost like you feel drained. Like you were a full cup, and you would just take in everything that you could take in from that case. And you would look down crazy angles. I was looking down crazier shit than some of these wackadoos that still think Richard Allen's innocent are saying now. But there's almost like an emotional letdown. And that's crazy to say because the case didn't affect me. It wasn't my kids. It wasn't my husband that got put in jail. It was none of that. But you get so attached to a place. You get to people that you don't know that you met one time. You know what I mean? But it's there. It's an emotional connection. So it's almost like, what do we do now? Where do we go from here? And when I came on, I didn't plan on covering new cases necessarily. Kimmy Crims in McKeesport. We're going to talk about that anyway. So after that, you get swept up in that, and there's people on camera. I think Ruckus was one of the first people that said it a long time ago. Man, you have a video of the killer, and we don't know who it is, and there's only so many 2,000 people in this town, and it's intriguing. And early on, you want it to be a hexagonal conspiracy. Oh, it was these people that covered up for these people, and it just isn't that. And you find out that most cases are. People you say Occam's razor, they are that. And then you find out that like 90% of cases where bodies are found outside, there is no DNA on. So you watch your shows and your things like that, and you expect, well, it can't be this. Then you look in the real world, and a lot of times it's a lot more dull and boring, and it's a lot easier to understand. But, it doesn't take away from the tragedy of it. And I see a couple of people here posted about Florida stuff, and I think today is the 17th. So today's 17th. We're 4 days away from the anniversary of that 2016 terrible tragedy that happened. And this will be the, I'm not that great at math, but I can figure this one out. This will be the 9-year anniversary. And man, the FBI was making waves. I don't know what they got out of that. I don't have any connection to them or anything like that. I know that there was a really good guy, and as far as I know, he's still working the case. He's still got the case file, and he's still looking into it. And people would reach out and say, hey, I think they're looking at this person, and I would do my due diligence or try to see what I could see. But it's so sad. But at the end of the day, someone has to talk. But I still have faith that somebody will talk, because you're not going to carry that around. And I believe still, and I only have suspects, but I believe still, like Doug Carter said, he doesn't think that they meant to kill the girls. And I don't think that was a tactic using the media. I think that was a true thing there. So, you look at your options. What are your options? I still have a very large problem with arson for profit, unless it was this guy or gal's first arson. Because number one rule of arson is nobody's home. You don't want any further investigation. You don't want the death of 5 children. If that house was a house that no one lived in and someone lit it on fire, they wouldn't be looking 10 years later. Fuck, we didn't find out who it was. It is what it is. So I will definitely I don't know if I'll be able to go live on that day, but I definitely will have a show. We will continue to talk about that. And you just got to knock something loose. You have to, there has to be someone that's sitting there that just like it's eating them up. And glass half full kind of person. Hopefully that humanity will come out in that. But just to make you guys aware, that's how long it's been. It's been, next year at this time, we'll be talking about the 10-year. That's a decade. That's a decade that the person or persons who did this and the people that helped to cover it up have gotten away with this. But you don't get away with things forever. And true crime has taught us that. And advances in DNA has taught us that, and all these different things. Like there's people all the time that are coming out, and years later they're identifying people. Oh, that's a class. It says residential fire. Oh, there is a fire. Okay, so they're seeing if I'm coming in. You guys are up. Can't come. So our guys are going to a fire out of town, and what the deputy's doing is texting to see if you want to come in and man the truck for overtime. There's guys that are already there manning the truck. It's crazy here. We're gonna be 1,800 calls this year, and we don't do any medical. So that's what it's a bunch of firemen, and there are gonna be 100 texts, but each text is gonna be 1 or 2 words. There's no long text from our guys or things like that. So thank you, Miranda, for that. Gibbo's panel Friday for Flora. Let's see. I work Wednesday and Sunday. Let me double check, because I don't want to sound arrogant whatsoever, but I actually have to keep a fucking schedule now in my phone, not just the days that I work, because there's things to do. But I would love to, Gibbo, if I have the opportunity, time permitting. I'm not scheduled to work right now, and off the top of my head, I can't think of anything I have to do, but I also can't remember what I ate for dinner tonight either. But I could tell you all the words to a rap song from 1994. Father Time is undefeated, I guess. But anyways, yes, I would definitely be interested in that. And you know what? How many people come into my live? My Delpha at the height of it, maybe 130. If I do a floor live, I'll make it 20 or 25. But like if someone sees it or someone hears about it, and it doesn't have to be my channel. It could be anyone's channel that does floor, as long as they're not cuckoo fucking whack jobs. Just knock something loose, and someone says, "Hey man, I've had enough. I've had enough." So, but again, 9 years for that coming up. Absolutely a heartbreaking situation. I made it to floor, but I didn't make it there when the house was up. But I went, I showed you I posted the videos of that. I kind of went there at like the break of dawn. I didn't want anyone to be around. I wanted to be able to kind of take in that environment and that scene, and it sticks with you. And children, I don't know if anyone has jobs or you've lost children, though. That doesn't go away. We've encountered that it stays with you. But yeah, if I can, I would love to. If I'm invited, I'm gonna let you know. Probably let you know here tonight. Check on my phone, check with the wife, make sure we don't have anything going on. I don't believe that we do, and especially if you do like a 5 p.m. one, like I think your one was today, because it had to be, because I was down there working until about 6:30, 7 in the basement. So, anyways, the state of true crime. Just going through YouTube stuff, and most of my YouTube viewing for the last 2 months has been old wrestling guys talking about old wrestling stories, old shoot interviews. So you hear crazy stories about Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior. I like Jim Cornette. He's nuts. But that's kind of what I've been doing and checking those things out and into a couple of TV shows. The Mayor of Kingstown is fantastic. A lot of it shot in McKeesport. Our house might be in a season. My deputy chief went as a background character, and he's in 2 scenes. We haven't seen him yet. It's up to season 4. Paramount has that, but I highly encourage you. Mayor of Kingstown, Jeremy Renner, fantastic actor. A lot of the other actors are there's Diane West is in there for a couple seasons, but there are a lot of newer actors or kind of lesser known, but it's an absolutely fantastic series. I encourage you guys to watch it. I encourage you guys to watch the Son of Sam show on Netflix. I don't remember if I got to talk about that the last time. And there was just another show that I watched too. Oh, the Eileen Wuornos. The movie was made, I think it was called Monster. And they did a lot of background on her. Netflix had a show. It's a brand new show. I can't remember what it's called, but her Eileen Wuornos. A lot of people say she's the first female serial killer. That's not true. There was actually a couple female serial killers back in like the 1800s that we're kind of known about. But it's Eileen Wuornos to me is the perfect example of nature and nurture. Genetics loads the gun. Your psychology aims it, and your life experiences pulled the trigger. She wasn't born into wealth or anything like that, but she was not born as a killer. She became one. And, at the end of the day, the movie was good, but the show on Netflix, I highly encourage you to watch. I think it's fantastic. But the state of true crime, right? Watching other people, I think I noticed Marv had left for a little bit because I saw a show where she was coming back and I didn't get to watch it or listen. And I had a lot of stuff going on. But it is, and it's not, Delphi's not unique, and it's probably not even the worst. But what you have is almost like you kind of have you have 2 sides, you have 3 sides. One side's always going to be like, the police are always right. The other side's going to be like, the police are always wrong. And then there's like the people in the middle, which I think is the most amount of the people that let's weigh the evidence. Hey, in this case, they did good. In this case, we disagree. So if you see people, the cops are always wrong, they're always wrong, they're always wrong. I can almost guarantee you that at some point in their life, they or an immediate family member, mother, father, brother, sister, boyfriend, girlfriend, or both, had a negative interaction with police. And this is jaded them, and this has taken them to, that can't be this, it can't be this. We will look at in crazy, incredibly unlikely scenarios instead of just saying, the cops got the right guy. So knowing that now after Delphi going in, I'm okay with some of the new cases. I don't stay up on a whole lot. What I get into and what I find extremely interesting is the serial offenders. I know that Gibbo and Frank were talking about the shooting that happened in late something, Indiana. I can't remember the name of the town. And I read something on Angela Ganote or whatever, how you pronounce her last name. I don't know if it was her. It was one of the stations that I follow in Indiana, the news stations. And they listed this big, long thing. And I'm thinking like, well, in Pennsylvania, we have the Castle Doctrine, which you don't have to retreat. And in Indiana, I don't know if they have something similar to that. It's like a stand your ground type of law is what it is. And, that first came to me as a word during the Trayvon Martin case in Florida stand your ground law, that George, whatever his name was, that shot him. And then, we have the Castle Doctrine here in Pennsylvania, and Indiana has something similar. It's not, obviously in word for word, but I found it very interesting reading that and how that played out. And it's just an absolutely terribly sad situation. It didn't have to happen, in my opinion. But I'm not standing at the top of my steps at 2 a.m. or whatever time it was. And this, I don't know. We all bring these conceived notions with us. We bring these prejudices with us. And it's human being. It's human nature. It depends on how you grew up. It's nature versus nurture. No one's born to be, I don't like these kind of people, or no one's born that way. We all learn that. But we have a couple screws loose and a couple other things, and then this and that happens, and then it lines us up. And that is like the thing on my channel. How does all that happen, and how can we eventually prevent it? So I will get back to covering bread and butter, my meat and potatoes, the serial killers over time. Any active cases, there's a couple of things. There's something going on in Texas. It's been going on for a while. There's some interesting things. people have asked me about the smiley face killers, and I go to the experts on it. I don't believe that there's a group of people nationwide killing people, leaving smiley faces. I don't think a lot of those crimes are connected. There's a lot of gay men, and they're going in the water. And almost all the time, the gay men are intoxicated. It doesn't mean they got so drunk that they fell in the river. And there's been multiple cases in Pittsburgh. What it could mean is someone's using alcohol to lure them to lower their inhibitions, or to get them in a spot where they could take advantage of them. And it could be series type offenses. I would look for a guy who's probably gay, who people don't know he's gay, and they don't want to know he's gay. And after he has these experiences with some of these men, the only way, like, he hates himself instantly, and he does these things to them. But it's interesting. It's interesting. So I'm not exactly sure, but yeah. Gibbo and Frank Meister, you're live on that. I was reading about, that's what I was talking about, that case where the guy shot the lady that was heard a commotion outside of his door. I just read just very, very little bit about it, and I heard what you guys were saying when you guys were talking about it while I was cleaning out the basement. But yeah, true crime has its good sides and bad sides, like everything else, and it's just not the Delphi case. I learned that. I didn't really get into Karen Reed. I didn't really get into Idaho case. But there's still people that say Koberger didn't do it. This one didn't do it. And it's just, you can't argue with them. You have to let them go. Something in their life happened where they either don't like police, or they're just generally miserable motherfuckers. And it's free country to be miserable, but we're having fun over here. I got a really good job. I got a hot wife. I got a nice house. I don't give a fuck. But moving forward, again, Flora, Kimmy Krim, those will be things to me. Anything interesting that's going on, if anyone ever has anything and says, hey, listen, these people have been discovered. There was things going on in Connecticut. And listen, the police are always going to downplay it. They're always going to downplay it. And it's not because I don't think they want to lie to the public. I think it's because they don't want to let on. He's going on, and we notice it's the same. Oh, sorry about that. Losing my internet's getting a little wonky there. And you don't want them to change their routine, right? So let's talk about linkage and how you can link things. What I was talking about before about the micro penis, right? We heard of Adolf Hitler had a micro penis. Big fucking shock there. They did his genealogy, and he would have been one of the first people to get thrown into the gas chamber because he's a piece of shit. So he killed all those people. He murdered all those people, and he was really one of them. More so than probably anyone else in that Third Reich hierarchy, Aryan blood. But you could look at him and be like, how come no one said, well, where's your blonde hair and blue eyes? And if you ever saw him in a swimming without a towel, like, well, dude, where's your dick? Are you even a dude? What's going on there? I'd have been there like, hey, Hitler got a button on a fur coat. If you can picture what that looks like, that's probably what Hitler looked like. So fast forward 40 years, 35 to 45 years. Oh, no. I just read that. Sorry, Jill. Jill Moser lost the fur baby, and that family's family. If you have a pet, you kind of get it. Sorry, Jill, and if you're listening, if you watch us another time, but we're all thinking about you for sure. Jill's a really nice lady. I see her on Facebook a lot. So that's sad. Yeah. But what was I saying there? But so Golden State Killer, Gary D'Angelo. Okay. I'm going to share the article. How they linked him up. I have a couple pictures I'm going to show you first. They're just kind of like random pictures that I put in. But since I'm here right now, this was the vote count again. I finished second. And just so you know, 4 people got on. I didn't say that before. 4 people got on. We have 9 members. You can see what says it at the top. Maybe you can see that or not. 4 people get in. And in 2 years, 5 people will get in. So this is the harder cycle, if you will. And we have McKeesport, White Oak, Javosburg, Coulter, and Versailles is our. So we have like 5, one city and the rest would be considered boroughs, 1 city and 4 boroughs. So we had this. Don't worry, the guys ran away. So I guess they weren't hurt. Whoops. There we go. The other thing I had up was just the election thing from before. So there we were told that 3 to 4 men they ran away from this wreck. I shouldn't laugh. And they dumped their ladders everywhere. There was ladders all over the place. So the police didn't find them. They got out. But we've been getting a ton of car accidents. So about about 2 shifts ago, we ran 8 car wrecks. About 2 shifts ago. This was another car wreck. This is actually in the same almost exact spot as where those vans wrecked. But of a different day. Different day. That's East 5th Avenue. There's nothing wrong with the road. It's all, people just can't drive. Or they're distracted. We see so much distracted driving. So for Thanksgiving come up, I'm a big Sopranos fan. I can slip in Sopranos everywhere. And Junior's all pissed off. They're like, it's Christmas. As you can see with the little tree here, he's like, you can make a hand turkey. And he's like, a hand turkey? It's Christmas. That's stupid. That's just funny. Take you back to your younger days as making your hand turkeys in school. Remember that? I don't know if you guys knew this with the Steelers win yesterday. And I haven't had a chance really to talk to any of you Hoosiers recently, but the Steelers beat the Colts a couple weeks ago, and we had a good win yesterday. Cincinnati's bad. But in case you didn't know, what the little stars or decals on a Steelers helmet means, coal, iron ore, and steel scrap, and that's what we did. That's basically like the Coke that we would put out. Coal, iron ore, steel scrap. That's kind of what built. It is what built Pittsburgh in the region. So if you get this is fucking funny. This is hilarious. If you get this, one of my favorite movies ever. I remember watching it as a kid. My grandparents, who I lived with till I was in 5th grade, always had HBO. They always had HBO because my grandpa was a huge boxing fan. And back in the day, before pay-per-view, the big fights were on HBO. Tyson and all those things. So he would get that. So I would watch movies, and one of the movies was La Bamba. The story of Richie Valens, how he got killed in the plane crash and his whole rise. And if you remember, his brother Bobo was the drunken maniac who won an art contest and then cheated or sketched them or something, and he won drawing lessons. But it's Bob Ross, if you get it. It's just really funny. I thought that was fantastic. So let me go back here and show you what I wanted to show you. Well, this is the Heuerman one. So anyways, I guess I didn't clip that article. I could share it. But Gary D'Angelo, a Golden State Killer, he was year-ons. He was the East Area Rapist and the original Night Stalker, they called him. He moved around a little bit, was a cop. And he had the same MO, which kind of changed over time. Always, make sure the guy isn't there, or make sure the guy is there, tie him up, put dishes on his back in case he moves. Then they would say, hey, there's something that he won't go into a house with the dogs. Then he purposely did it like to show them. So anyways, his story was one of the things where the detectives, they say, that originally linked everything together, right? So they link everything together in this case with the Golden State Killer. And initially, all the girls said his penis was tiny. It's like it's not even was there. So they just linked it over and over and over again. And one of the things that got him initially looked at for being a series person was a micro penis. And he's one of those killers too that I don't know if he's ever going to talk. He's a miserable son of a bitch, and his last bastion of power is that information and being able to tell families, yeah, this is what happened and things like that. So I don't know if he's ever going to talk. But what happened was Rick Shearman was accused of an 8th victim. This is from about a week ago. I was calling McNamee. She beaten, strangled, dumped near William Floyd Parkway in Shirley, according to the record, Suffolk County Medical Examiner. So she was from another guy who was a series killer in that area. We're going to see him in a second. There was another one, too, before him, all in that area. And it was like a kind of an original Long Island serial killer. His name was Joel Rifkin. Why? Is it just something in the air there? I don't know. I think it's an opportunity. There was a lot of sex workers at that time there. Maybe there still is. And from what I understand, there's a lot of the road system is in such a way that you can kind of get really decent distances in a quick amount of time. That was the crime scene where she was discovered. And again, it's in the early 90s. Huerman's victims almost exclusively were all found in a lot thicker stuff than that. A lot thicker stuff. Hard to even get through. Even the one girl, Shannon Gilbert, they talk about her, and she fell and like drowned face down because the stuff was so thick, or so they say. But anyways, so this guy, John Bittroff, I don't say the L, fuck that, was claiming, oh, I didn't do this, Huerman did it. So they have this, this DNA profile of Huerman, and they rub it against that, and it's not him. So despite trying to say it was Huerman and this guy's just trying to throw this case off, he has other girls killed too. That was the story with Huerman. There is Bitrolf, I guess is how you say it. I always call it Bitroff, on Huerman. But look at the next part of this article here. This is the really cool part of this article. And we're going to get more into Huerman. I'm going to start covering him. He's going to be one of the active cases that I really get into, because it's not bizarre to a certain extent, but it's the yin and yang of Huerman. He's at work. He's fastidious. He's an architect, but he's not just an architect that draws buildings. He can get to people. He's a code guy. He's almost like a Ray Donovan in New York City architecture. And I'm not saying he's walking around whooping anyone with a baseball bat or nothing like that, but he knows the right guy to go to get the right permits. That puts him in a political sphere of people, including that corrupt-ass police chief that they had out there. But ironically, it's DNA evidence that linked the accused serial killer to 7 other bodies: Valerie Mack, Jessica Taylor, Megan Waterman, Melissa Bartholomew, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Sandra Castilla, and Amberlynn Costello. And again, I believe that at the end, when this is done, and I don't know if Huerman's a guy that's going to talk or not. I don't know. That's if you want to say, hey, coaches, what do you think about that? I don't know. He's more gregarious. He's done interviews and things like that, but I don't know. But this guy, from his time and his travels, I don't know if he killed in Vegas or South Carolina or not, where he had other places and other people live. But I mean, this guy is going to be, unfortunately, I would think over 20, because he didn't stop when he had his kid. BTK did that, right? Dennis Rader did that. He stopped, and he got caught because he could not shut the fuck up. He was still a sick individual, but he kind of, he aged out or just got out of it. But once his kids came, he kind of stopped. Huerman did not. Huerman had a son who was learning disabled a little bit, a little developmentally challenged. I'm sure that added to his stress and his stressor level. I mean, this guy had a locked, soundproof room inside his house. We're going to find out through the court documents what it looks like. He probably tortured these girls for some period of time, so he's sadistic. He wanted to watch them be hurt, and that's how he got off. And I wonder if he needed that to get off. He was such a sick individual. But hopefully he talks, and not talks for the sick details and stuff like that, because we can learn from the son of a bitch. And some of these families have answers. If they want the answers, they'll have them. But anyways, the bodies were dumped between 1993 and 2010, but the murders went unsolved until ex-New York PD bigwig Rodney Harrison took over. Suffolk County Police Commissioner reopened the case. Harrison did a great job. He's out of there now. I don't know what terms he left on, but he got the job done. So hopefully he left and went to a bigger job. Hey, Trump calmed down to D.C. and let him get some work down there because that guy gets stuff done. Investigators then carried out 2 thorough searches of Huberman's home, Massapequa Parkway, which led to the discovery of Grizzly planning document of the accused killer. Lessons learned section. He's 1,000% guilty. I know. You got to go to trial. You got to go to trial. This dude had the plans on a computer. He's fastidious. He's using burlap sacks, which could be covered in DNA, but yet they're not finding it on the sacks. They're finding it on the girls. And then his house looks like a shanty. All the houses in the neighborhood, guy's an architect. There's shit laying everywhere. The inside of the house from photos was a mess before they tore it up. So I don't know. I would guess this, though. If and when we see pictures of that locked room, this is a guess. This is just a guess. You can lock me to it if I'm right or wrong. That room that he had locked room, we're going to use the John Douglas word again, is going to be fastidious. His tools of torture are going to be laid out in such a way there's not going to be things laying around in there. Part of that is a forensic countermeasure. He wants to get DNA and stuff off like that. But he controls that room. Maybe he doesn't feel he controls the house. I don't know. But it's one of those things that are just absolutely insane to me. Here's pictures of the girls that Huberman is accused of killing. He's denied, of course. We get some bit roll here. 58-year-old former carpenter from Marionville was serving a prison sentence 50 years to life for the murders of Tangredi and McNamee. Now, do we have overlap between him and Huberman? It's absolutely possible. Are there victims that this guy Bitteroff killed that aren't charged to him yet? Yes, absolutely possible. And Joel Rifkin, if you look him up, he was a little earlier than these guys, but they all kind of overlap. And you don't hear this talked about as much. One of them, because Huberman's just a trial now, but it's almost like California was in the early 70s. You had multiple series killers working at the same time in the same general area, and they didn't know each other and they weren't working together. So when you say, what are the odds of that? Well, don't look at the size of the geographic region. Look at the number of people there. So you could say, well, if I live in a town in Wyoming, and in that town of Wyoming, it's 100 square miles, but there's only 50 people that live in that town of Wyoming. To have 2 or 3 working serial killers in that 100 square mile radius would be astronomical. But if you look at 100 square mile radius of, say, Manhattan, and how many fucking people live there, to have 3 operating series killers operating at the same time independently of each other, that's not even that big of a deal. Statistically, if you look at it that way. But I just find it all extremely interesting. And, how do you stop this? How can you keep yourself safe? It's almost impossible because you don't know these people. Again, these people aren't the big scary people that are out there hiding in plain sight. Doug Carter's been the millionth person to say that, not the first, if you've never heard that before. The guy that has the hatchet and is covered in blood running down the street naked, he gets caught. He gets caught right away. It's the people that you don't know. It's your neighbor. It's the regular guy you're cutting the grass. You have a couple beers with, watch the Steeler game. Your neighbor comes over, you smoke a joint with on the weekends. Wow, him? Holy shit, I can't believe it was him. And it's every single time like that. I can't believe it was him. I can't believe it was him. Even the Golden State Killer. Gary was a jack-off for sure. He was ignorant and he didn't want to talk to anybody, but we didn't think he was a killer. The guy was a cop, in his day and things like that. So, but let me answer some comments here, and I'm going to be heading out here shortly. But Gibbo, text me or message me on maybe I have my number or not. Message me on Discord. I'll pop back in there. And if you have something Friday, I would definitely like to join. I think I've already sent you everything I have. I sent a lot of people everything I have. I never got anything that I held on to. I was never want to be a gatekeeper in that case. I want to get the information in everybody. Put that information in front of everybody in America if you can. If you ask me. Coming up on some questions here. Phil Baum, when does he go to trial? So it's going to be one of those things where there's a date. I'm not sure what it is, but I think it'll be continually pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. So if I had a guess, and the legal beagles will know better than me, I would think maybe at the end, when it's all said and done, at the end of 2026 or probably 2027, because there is just so much discovery. We know about discovery from Delphi. I'm trying to close this here, but this is just, I mean, this is insane. The amount of things in the investigation. Remember, these murders, some of them happened in the 90s. So how many things do they have? You know, what Delphi had with 7 or 8 years, the massive information that they're going to have here, it's going to be astronomical. And they were saying terabytes and stuff like that, and they would give them this and they would give them that. And defense attorneys cry, "Oh, well, do your job, or have your clerk, go through it. Just tell your clerk not to leave pictures of murdered children on the table. Try that, Teen Wolfstad." That's a really funny shot at Baldwin if anybody gets it. But yeah, so Phil, I would say around then, if I had a guess, I would have to look and see the dates. But when I do the show, I'll bring up the court documents and stuff like that. I just think that this is just my guess, in my opinion, but I've heard other people, Jim Clemente types, have talked about this and said, yeah, the word they use is prodigious. He's going to be prodigious, unfortunately, at the end of the day. But, these girls are gone. Hopefully the family can get some kind of closure. And when you say closure is a bullshit word. I shouldn't have said that. Some kind of peace, because you're never going to have closure. But maybe there's girls that went missing that they were never found, right? That Huerman can say, okay, the jig is up. You caught me. And I'm going to tell you about A, B, and C over here that you guys haven't found yet. They can go there and recover the remains and give that to the family. So again, Flora, we're coming up November 21st on 9 years for Flora, 2016. November 21st, I think the first 911 call came at 3:34 a.m. So that fire is probably lit. It's an oxygen starved fire. That fire is probably lit. It could have been earlier than 3 o'clock, but probably I'd say between 2:50 and 3:10. And we've all seen the video of that. I don't know if I get the opportunity, I'd love to go up with Gibbo on his show. And if people haven't seen that, I've talked through that a lot of times. It's on my channel somewhere. This is what's happening when that guy breaks that front window. And again, this is the worst accelerant that you can use at a house fire. If you're a firefighter and you pull up and let's say there's a gasoline tank on fire. Sucks. It absolutely sucks. We don't carry the right foam anymore because it was hazardous to us. But if we could find some of that old AFFF, aqueous film forming foam, we could dump it on it. That's the white stuff that kind of looks like dish soap. But eventually, that tanker truck that crashed into the house is going to run out of gasoline. You're probably not going to save the house. You're probably not going to save anyone in it. You can try to save neighbors' houses and do what you do, but eventually that's going to go away. If you have a windy day for 12 hours, the wind's blowing like fuck, you're done. You're having a very hard time. 1976, we had a fire. It was called the Famous Building. And I'll put pictures of that up sometime. You can look at the famous fire in McKeesport. It burned down blocks of downtown. And at that time, I don't know if we were still the third biggest city in the state. We're not. We were top 5 at that time still. We probably had some 50,000 residents around that time. But that wind, you can't stop it. You can't do anything against it. It doesn't go away until the wind quits blowing. So when we've had some windy days here and everyone at work's like, oh, I don't want to get a big job today, man, or a job today because it's going to turn into a big job. Even if a car fire, someone, out near a house and the wind's blowing, it's bad. So when they smash those windows, they bring that fire to them. We had a small, not even of consequence, but we bought a new oven too here, and we had a little bit of an oven fire. Brooke was making her scalloped potatoes, and she's like, "Oh shit," and I look, there's a little flame in there, so something had spilled out of potatoes. Something was burning. There was something on fire. It was actively on fire, and I said, "Oh, don't open the oven. Shut it off. We'll restart it or whatever." It was not the end of the world, but a lot of people want to open that oven right away. So I had her wet a towel all the way down. And I got all that ready. Then I opened the oven and I kind of patted it down. We kept the oven closed and that was all the way out. So that's just a tip. If you have an oven fire, keep that oven closed. And I know that air still gets in there and gets out of there. But when you open that oven up, that fire is going to come directly at you. It's going to come right at you. That's bad news. If you could keep it in there and turn the power off, great. If you could get to the gas or the electric to turn it off, great. But if you can't, don't burn yourself. But have the fire department come and check. A lot of the guys are handy. Not necessarily me, but they can look at your oven and say, hey, you know what? This burnt in your oven. You're not going to be able to use this oven. Or they're going to say, hey, it's going to stink for a little while, but put a little baking soda in there, scrub it out. You're going to be okay. So that's just an idea. So Aurora burns ice cream. Makes me think of that old, was it Chi-Chi's fried ice cream? My wife knows how to make that. She told me how to make it. I don't think she ever made it for me. I forget how you do it. But you get the ice cream and it'd be like fried on the top. It was really cool. But anyways, I'd like to thank you all. Get ready to watch some Monday Night Football here. I encourage the Mayor of Kingstown's a tremendous show. I encourage you to watch the Eileen Warno show on Netflix. They did a really good job with that. That's newer. The Son of Sam stuff is really good. Berkowitz, and to a lot of people, if you didn't watch my channel or you weren't really a fan of true crime, to a lot of people, you would think that, yeah, he was still talking to his neighbor's dog, but he admitted that was bullshit. If you watch the show Mindhunter, that was bullshit too. And again, they're coming out with that. They're going to be like 1 or 2 1.5 hour episodes to wrap up Mindhunter, which is going to be fantastic. And it's supposedly he's going to wrap up with the arrest of Dennis Rader, the BTK killer. But look for me soon here. Frank Meister Raw. I don't get into watching so much of the new stuff anymore, Frank. I still love the old stuff. I'll still go watch I watched like 4 Halloween Havocs right around Halloween. The whole Halloween Havoc, the whole show. Where the Mummy came out and humped Hulk Hogan. If you were looking for a laugh, I forget what year it was, be 96 Halloween Havoc, where the Yeti. But thanks, everybody. Thanks, Mustang. I'm glad to be back. Thanks, JJ. But more than a rest from true crime, I have pretty thick skin, and I believe that other people's opinions of me are none of my business. But it's just, there was a lot going on, but it was just, it was nice to take a break, come back refreshed, look forward. Definitely miss talking to everybody. Those of you that have my number or have my email, if you ever want to reach out, even if I'm not doing YouTube stuff, even if I end this channel and you still reach out. I made friends for life here, and that's a good thing. And I tell people all the time about my experience here, and they're like, nah. Jinx, gifts of membership. Thank you to whoever got that. We're going to get back on that with doing some stuff. And you know what I find about the members only, in my opinion, I see a lot of people that maybe don't even know that they're members. They'll pop up in the chat or they'll come up and talk and maybe more often. And again, I don't have huge 1,000 people in my chat or nothing like that, but that's nice to have that time. Definitely do a Christmas special, a members only Christmas special. I won't put the movies in it because that's what fucked me last time on YouTube. They got pissed. Yeah, fuck them if they can't take a joke, right? What are you going to do? But I'm going to leave you guys to it. I appreciate everybody coming in. Send me a message on Discord there. Unless you have my email or number, you can use whatever you got. And I'd love to do something with you Friday. Just going to check the phone here and check with the wife. Anytime anyone's doing anything Flora, I'm in to get the word out there. And look for something coming up on Huerman. I'm really going to get into that deep. I'm going to show you that Jim Clemente stuff again and see how much of the interviews and things like that I could show you, because that guy had this pegged in 2007 or 2010. And he actually even said that the guy had a real bad case of poison ivy. And I haven't heard if Huerman did or not. Gibbo got the membership. Well, that's kind of fitting, isn't it? Oh, well, that's okay. I appreciate everyone that's a member. I appreciate everyone that comes in, every comment, everything like that. If you're watching this later, what's up? It's good to be back and good to see y'all. And with my work schedule, so the school board meetings are for whatever, December the 4th. I think they're the Thursdays. I'll share the schedule of that too, but I'll share the YouTube link because all the meetings are live. So if you ever want to see me suited and booted, hopefully not going to war with people, hopefully getting along and governing. But if it is what it is, then it is what it is. Don't sleep the port, as we say around here. But I thank you all so much for coming in. Cowboys favored on the road against the Raiders. Neither teams are really good. I have about $30 in bets in. I know. And everything has Cowboys money line and CeeDee Lamb scoring a touchdown. So I tell you that with the confidence of Not a confident guy, but check it out if you do. So I appreciate everyone tonight. Fantastic. Great being back. Great seeing y'all. And again, look for me Friday. If I get with Gibbo and I can do it, I'll share all that information out with you too. Even if I can't, get in there and watch that floor episode. Follow, support anyone does anything for floor, as long as they're not batshit crazy. All right. So I'm going to leave you guys to it, and I will talk to you all real soon. Thank you all for coming in, and great little talk tonight. You guys are the best. You truly are. So we'll leave it at that. Go Blue. This was a couple years ago. They were Big Ten champs. Probably not going to be. It could be. We'll see what happens. Fingers crossed, right? Indiana will probably kick our ass if we have to play them. So that makes up for my Colt shot I took at you guys before. All right, everybody. Take care. I love you all. Fantastic time tonight. And check out Gibbo's page for his show Friday, whether I'm there or not. And look for me doing something about Rex Huerman pretty soon. All right, everybody. Coach Kev, out.